guys, welcome back to Shifting Gears. This is actually episode 1 of this new show that we're testing out here. So if Shifting Gears is taken, sorry. Madison, Wisconsin. They just recently unveiled 4 new snowplows.
Well done, Madison, Wisconsin.
4 brand new snowplows named by the great citizens of Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Saltimus Prime.
That's really good.
Snowby-Wan Kenobi. Seymour Pavement. Dolly Plowton.
Seymour Pavement's my favorite. What's yours?
Oh, but wait, there's more.
No, what's your favorite
Oh,
of
out of those? A Snowby-Wan Kenobi. Are you kidding me? In New Jersey, we have Forget a Plowed It. In Minnesota, Plowing the Plowface. That's my favorite one. And in Vermont, we have Steve.
It's just Steve?
Steve. And a garbage truck in Indiana named Ben Diesel.
Shut up.
Whitney, would you consider yourself a sports fan?
No, absolutely not.
Perfect. So the NCAA college basketball tournament started this week. It is a big deal for everyone except for Whitney. So we're going to play a little game here. We're going to have her guess some college team logos.
Okay, and this is for what sport?
We're off to a good start here.
There's a C on it, but I don't think it's Chicago. I genuinely don't even know what animal this is supposed to be. It looks like a chicken. C is for chicken.
From where are they from? What?
I couldn't tell you. Probably like Nebraska. That's Kentucky, right? I don't know what that animal is.
Take a guess.
It's a bird, not a plane, not Superman. Oh, is that the Chattanooga Red Wolves? Nope, that's the soccer team.
What do we have here?
The Georgia Bulldogs.
As a former University of Georgia student, I am appalled right now.
A turtle.
You're not wrong.
See, the thing is, a lot of states start with an M, so I'm going to go with Michigan. Well, that is definitely a North Carolina.
Yeah?
I mean, it looks like a ram to me.
Guts, glory, ram.
The Vikings.
Wait,
With swords.
the Vikings with swords? Truck drivers, they go everywhere. They see everything. So I decided to look up what are some of the craziest things that truck drivers have seen other drivers doing. We'll start with number 1. Strangest thing I've seen was a goat riding in the passenger seat like a person.
Was it buckled up?
It even had a seatbelt on.
Yes.
Look at that.
Of course it did.
Look at that.
Gotta keep that goat safe.
This one says, my dad is a truck driver of over 20 years. He once saw a lady with a cutting board on her lap, cutting up fruit and putting it into a bowl on the passenger seat.
So
She was driving and making a fruit salad.
Fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
That is so stupid.
Yeah, you gotta make something more delicious than that. What are you doing? Saw a guy practicing his guitar while driving. He just wanted to hear Wonderwall, you know?
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
A surprising number of people drive without pants.
That's weird. Put your pants on. Do you get in your car without your pants? Or is this a decision that you make while mobile?
I don't want to think about those reasons. I saw a lion in a car.
A lion?
A real one.
How does a lion fit in a car?
You ever seen Hangover? It was a tiger, but you know. Whitney, I'm going to close this out with another sports segment because you do so well on this.
Are these logos or mascots?
Oh, they're mascots.
I love mascots. They're so weird.
You can just say whatever comes to your mind when you see these mascots.
Well,
how about that? Does that work for
how
you?
we get subscribers, it turns out.
All right, Whitney, here's number 1.
What is that? It looks like, you know, the McDonald's
Looks
crew?
like Grimace. Yeah.
It looks
It's like red
McDonald's.
Grimace.
It's like the mean cousin that they didn't invite back.
Let's move on to the next one, see if it gets any better. Oh, it doesn't.
Ew.
It looks like they actually have a taxidermied marlin sitting on top of a mascot
That
suit.
poor. Do you have a profile shot, like a mugshot?
Oh, I can probably find you one. Yeah, absolutely. Here we
His
go.
search history is insane. That one's so much better. That's the one you should have showed me.
You're not gonna guess what this one is.
The meme of that like monkey that's like.
Oh, the one that's.
So that looks like. Okay, so this is hockey. If Davy Jones and a Muppet had a baby, it would be this.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Flyers. They didn't give him wings. Do we know the background of this? Like what the concept is supposed to be?
Oh my god. Nightmare.
It's obviously a Sesame Street
This
animal
is-
that escaped.
And
Why is he
in
part
other
of the
lives.
Atlanta Braves? What about him looks brave? That just came from a Halloween shop.
You know what's funny? This isn't actually their main mascot. This is like a.
Well, thank God.
It's like
for
a
that.
guest appearance mascot. This is their real one. It's not much better.
That is so much better.
But look at
That's
that.
a real animal.
Yeah, but it also looks like it would haunt you.
No.
That looks like it would
haunt you.
haunt. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Is it a Christmas tree? And they yell, "Go tree."
Their mascot, their actual like team name has nothing to do with a tree.
Stanford.
Yeah.
Stanford, what are you doing?
They're the Stanford Cardinal, but their mascot's
Is
a
that
tree.
the tree that the cardinal lives in?
Oh wow, mobile home.
So there's a tradition in Idaho that's been happening for about 100 years now, where they send sheep up into higher elevation.
And drop them.
Well, they herd, they run
Yeah.
or walk. We'll show a clip over my face because that'll be more fun for you to watch than me talking. So doing this prevents forest fires and stimulates new plant growth. So it's very common this time of year. Like I said, it's been happening for about 100 years now.
Idaho firemen are just sheep.
The spokesperson for the Idaho Rangeland Commission said that this is the largest herd that he's seen in his 10 years of service. And I just think that more people need to know that that's something that's happening here in the U.S. It seriously looks like something that would be happening like
Yeah,
in a meadow in Ireland, but it's not.
absolutely.
It's here, and I love it. Speaking of potatoes.
She was so excited for this. Let's go.
Speaking of potatoes, there was a suspected meteorite that hit a house in New Jersey this week.
Okay.
So the meteorite was roughly the size of a potato. We'll put a picture up so I don't look crazy. It was okay. It was like 4 by 6. It looks like a burnt potato.
All right.
I mean, it's about this big. So obviously meteorites are bigger than that when they're flying through space, but they burn up when they come into the atmosphere. And so all that was left was about a potato-sized rock, and it flew through this house in New Jersey, through the roof, into a bedroom, like hit the hardwood floor, ricocheted around for a little bit. The family had no idea what was going on. They called local authorities. They come in, they inspect it, and right now the thought is that this is a space rock that has landed in their house. As of right now, we do know that it is not radioactive, which is great for the family. And a key takeaway for this, what?
I'm workshopping a joke with the peanut gallery. Go ahead. You're good.
It is pretty cool. I wonder if that increased the value of the house.
Like this is where it went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a celebrity lived
Yeah.
there once. This is the famous potato house.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one where the space potato came through here.
Yeah. So
This is why it's $1 million. So this might be the most Florida story messed up thing I've seen in well, at least the last 5 minutes when it comes to Florida. There are these like huge mounds of what's called I'm gonna mess this up. Phosphogypsum, I'm pretty sure that's what it looks like.
so known as a
Critique thing.
PG stack.
So it's just radioactive mounds of stuff in
Mhm.
Florida, also known as most universities in Florida.
Mhm.
The 24 stacks can basically sit as they are forever and just be radioactive forever. Or we can build roads with them.
Of course.
The House has approved a bill to study whether Florida can use it in road construction. That seems like a good idea to study that first.
Does that mean the roadkill is going to be radioactive too? If it just like lays there?
I think the road is going to kill you if they start using this. Guys, we lost some explosive chemicals from a train.
Yep.
Trains are having a moment this year, clearly. We didn't seem to learn from the last lesson in Ohio where we just lit a whole bunch of chemicals on fire and hope for the best. Well, at least in this case, it hasn't exploded yet, which is good.
Right.
So,
Just a ticking time bomb lost
Exactly.
somewhere in the
Yeah.
between Wyoming and what, California?
exactly, yeah. Let me give you some backstory here, y'all. So a rail car loaded with 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate, that's 30 tons of explosive stuff,
So much.
left Cheyenne, Wyoming on its way to California. It left Wyoming on April 12th, so that's over a month ago. Yeah, 2 weeks after leaving Cheyenne, the rail car arrived at a rail stop in the Mojave Desert where it was found to be empty. Ammonium nitrate just gone.
That was so much cargo to
Yeah.
just disappear.
A little backstory on what ammonium nitrate is and why this is a bad thing. It's used in agricultural fertilizer. That's not the bad part. The bad part is that it can be used for mining explosives and construction industry explosives as well.
And how much of that's
Danger.
missing again?
30 tons.
Sure.
To think about walking that
2023
down.
was not a year for trains.
No, it was the
Just
worst.
not the best year.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember FTX?
I do.
Basically, FTX went down for fraud. During their fraudulent advertising campaigns and whatnot, they had a bunch of spokespeople. So when FTX goes down, technically so did these celebrities because they're endorsing a fraud
Right.
product. And so they have to, they're getting sued, essentially. The biggest celebrities on the planet. And by biggest, I mean quite literally the largest. 7'1" Shaquille O'Neal
Uh-oh.
was one of the spokespersons. Shaquille O'Neal has been surprisingly hard to find, even though he's on TV every night. And he's the largest human ever. Well, they basically couldn't serve him his papers for like months. He just somehow kept getting away. At one point, they threw the court papers like at his car, and the lawyers were like, "Nah, it didn't count. He didn't see him. It just hit the car."
The elusive Shaq.
So they eventually found him in Miami at an arena that was previously, as recently as a few months ago, named FTX Arena.
Be careful who you partner with.
Yeah, it's the one time in the world I don't want to be Shaq. Strangest things that truckers have hauled. What exactly is in that giant trailer? One time I hauled a single pallet with literally 3 milk cartons on it. That was the whole load. Only had to go an hour down the road, too.
I could have taken that in my Honda Civic.
One time I was delivering to a remote facility in West Alabama. I was followed by government vehicles and told not to stop during the entire trip. I was also not allowed to be on site during delivery. Thought this was odd considering dispatch told me I was hauling empty canoes to a sporting goods store. They turned out to be engine-powered missile tubes.
It's a really big lie.
Imagine he gets pulled over by DOT or something.
They're just canoes.
Yeah. It's like, don't worry about it. They're just canoes. Pops their trailer and it's just like, sir, you're so under arrest.
Also,
I picked up a load in Laredo, Texas, which is right on the border of Mexico.
Uh-huh.
Took it to Chicago. Bills just said Mexican crafts. Sure. I get to Chicago and wind up in a pretty sketchy little neighborhood. The place I went to was just a little corner store. No loading dock or even a driveway. Once I pull in, I open up the trailer and it's full of piñatas.
drug mule.
You're ahead of it, but yes. Also, keep in mind, this was not a party store that he was
This is
delivering
just a
to.
corner
Just a
store.
corner store. Not a place
Market.
that could even conceivably sell piñatas. The guy tells me, hey man, it's probably going to take a while to unload. There's a restaurant a little down the block, and we won't mind if you just go down there and chill while we unload. I look at him. I look at the piñatas. I look at the neighborhood. I look back at him. And then back at the piñatas. And that's when I decided the restaurant would be a good place for me to sit back and enjoy a meal while the DEA just raided the store that I called them for.
Drug mule.
Drug mule. Pat Sajak, host of Wheel of Fortune for over 40 years now, is going to be retiring at the end of next season. So this feels like an era is ending. And to commemorate this and just to sort of pay homage to the legend Pat Sajak, we're going to draft game shows. So we're going to go alternating picks until we each have 5. And then at the end, we're going to compare and see who has the 5 best game shows. Deal?
Who's voting on the best?
The audience.
The peanut gallery.
And in the peanut gallery, of course. We know that they will make their opinion heard whether we want them to or not.
To introduce them, we have Melissa, Laura, and Grace.
Mhm.
I do not regularly call them the peanut gallery. These are
I do.
very valuable members of our marketing
Very
team.
valuable peanuts. All right. Well, let's get this game started. I'll let you get the first pick here.
Okay. I'm starting with whose line is it anyway?
Of why?
I was a theater nerd and I love improvisational theater. I think it's fun. I like that the points don't mean anything at all, and it's all audience engagement based.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite shows of all time, and I didn't add it to this list. So
I'm already winning.
All right. With my first pick, I'm going to take Jeopardy. Rest in peace to the
standard.
Rest in peace to the GOAT, Alex Trebek.
Okay.
Don't disrespect.
That's fine.
Don't disrespect the Beck.
I don't.
What I like about Jeopardy is that 98% of the time when I watch it, I feel like an idiot. But that 2% of the time when I do get the answer right, I'm a genius.
My next game show is Family Feud.
Oh, that was going to be my pick. Yeah, I mean, you're getting Steve Harvey.
So everybody loves a sassy Steve.
Yeah, everyone does. Okay, with my second pick, I'm going to take Deal or No Deal.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I think is because it inspired one of the most frustrating arcade games that I've ever played in my entire life. Those briefcases are impossible to follow.
I'm going to go with the matching game.
Ooh, the matching. Tell me more about the matching game.
It
seems pretty self-explanatory.
It is. It's actually they revamped it. So it was a pretty old game, and there were celebrities, and they were matched based off of like different criteria and questions that they would align with, and they kind of like rotated around. It was really fun. They reinvented it. I don't remember the date, but what, Laura, do you know?
I don't know the exact date, but I know that RuPaul's Drag Race does a version of it too, called the Snatch Game. And I'm serious. I do.
So
oh my god, that was awesome.
The matching game, because it's inspired a lot more than just that.
Fair. I can't argue with you there. All right. With my third pick, give me Wipeout.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Big red balls. Need I say more?
Nope. Next for me is Shark Tank.
Oh, that's a game show?
It was labeled as one.
All right, fair enough. I'll give it to you.
There's a winner and a loser, and there are judges. So.
Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, with my fourth pick, give me Cash Cab.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Give me Cash Cab.
That one gets on my nerves a little bit.
Well, it made me think that, as an 8-year-old, if I went to New York City, like every cab was just a game show. And so, yeah, so I just assumed that New York was just a giant like TV set where everybody just goes to play game shows. Bring it back. I don't know if it still exists.
Cultured of you.
bring back the Cash Uber.
My next pick would be The Wall.
Oh, The Wall. That's a good one. That's a new one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so. Fifth, give me Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Some of the greatest sound effects in game show history.
Yep. We all know exactly what you're talking about.
I think Phone a Friend should be in every game show.
Yes.
And Regis Philbin. Come on.
Everybody loves Regis.
Everybody loves Regis. Okay, for my second pick, I'm gonna take Finding Nemo.
Okay.
The piano soundtrack in that is extremely soothing, and don't touch the butt. Don't touch the butt.
Those are two wildly different criteria.
They both apply. They both work. That's why it's a great movie.
I think somebody told this young man, you can be anything you put your mind to. And he said, I believe you.
I'm going to be a fish. So in 2009, Rush explored the idea of founding his own submarine company. If you can't find submarines on the market, just go build your own. Why not? And thus, OceanGate was born. And just off the top, OceanGate sounds like a scandal.
It super does.
It super does. No one vetted this first. So what is OceanGate other than a horrible name for a company? OceanGate initially intended to operate a small fleet of 5-person subs that could be leased by any organization or group of individuals. I'm going to read that again. Any organization or group of individuals.
The risk. The sheer risk.
Yeah.
They did not have an HR department.
No. Rush's experience and research, quotations around those, led him to believe that he had discovered an unmet business opportunity to expand the market of private ocean exploration. He believed that this industry had been held back by two principal factors. Number one, submersibles having what he called an unwarranted reputation as dangerous vehicles. Number two, rigid government regulations that he believed stifled innovations in the industry. Just going to let that one sit for a second. In 2019, Rush stated that the Passenger Vessel Safety Act of 1993, quote, needlessly prioritized passenger safety over commercial innovation. In 2015, OceanGate pivoted to designing its own submersibles with unique designs that were cost-effective. Keyword there.
I looked up the requirements for this trip. Next to nothing. Do you need experience? No! Exclamation point. Have a valid passport, basically, so that you can enter Canadian waters.
It's like you're going
You
on a
must be
cruise.
18 or older, and you must have $250,000. And then there was a subclause that said passengers that were 17 could go as a non-diving companion.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, because nobody's getting
like
out
an
and
emotional
diving,
support
so they
child?
would be doing the exact same thing as everyone else. Maybe they just don't have like a mission that they're fulfilling while they're down there.
I have to take my emotional support child down with me, please. I know he's under 17.
That's called codependency.
There isn't one good singular answer to really explain how or why these fires started, but, well, they've led to some pretty interesting conspiracy theories, ranging all the way from arson to flying flamethrowers and lasers from space, because why not?
Pew, pew.
Thank you for the sound effects. My name is Greyson Harris. Whitney, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, hi, I'm Whitney.
Very good introduction there. I have one question here to start off the episode. This is specifically to the guy who commented about our mic situation. I have one question for you, sir. Can you hear me now?
Good.
Good.
Yep.
All right, so this is winner take all. Whoever gets this one, if either of us do.
Here we go. This one's really hard.
We're wasting seconds.
What the?
Okay, that sounds like something from like 2002.
I thought that was
hip-hop
Coldplay.
playlist.
I picked it. I was like, this is gonna be really
I
hard.
think that that's not even Taylor Swift. I have no idea what just happened.
That was Gavin DeGraw. Can't fool me. However, the thing that I think was probably most helpful to them was the fact that the U.S. used 800,000 sticks of dynamite
Sure.
per month. And you think that's the most U.S. thing that we could have done? You just wait. So after finally moving enough dirt to create a low enough angle to safely pass through the Claver Cut without any landslides or anything like that, only one more obstacle stood in the way, but it was a pretty big obstacle. Something called Gamboa Dike. It was basically just a huge boulder. Big old rock. This was the thing that we dealt with the most American way possible.
Uh-oh.
Over 3,700 miles away from Panama, President Woodrow Wilson sat in the Oval Office and pressed a big red button that sent a signal through thousands of miles of underwater cables, leading to a whopping 7,000 kilograms of dynamite placed around the giant rock. It took 4 seconds for the signal to reach, but when it did, the whole thing just blew into pieces as Woodrow Wilson sat back in his comfy chair. That had to have been so much more expensive to lay thousands of miles of underwater cable just so the president can press a button. I really wish that I had actually done a little bit more research on this part of it, because I'm just now realizing how ridiculous this is.
So funny.
Like, I knew it was ridiculous, but then I thought, wow, that took money and time.
Yeah, it did.
So if you ever wonder what the big red button is in the office, press it and you might blow up a rock. Yeah, it's insane, the logistics behind some of these extremely large ships. Royal Caribbean has the largest ships in the entire world, and they're obviously about to make history by making an even bigger one. But currently, Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas is actually the largest cruise ship in the world right now. It can accommodate 5,518 passengers at double occupancy, up to a maximum capacity of 6,680 passengers, as well as 2,200 crew members. There are 16 decks, 40 restaurants and bars. 40 restaurants and bars. Yes, that is including like the drink stations at the pools. Kind of cheating. Not really, though. That's a lot. 7 neighborhoods. It's split into neighborhoods. Just to further emphasize the fact that it is a city with its own boroughs. There's 23 pools and water slides. There are 2,759 cabins, and it's also 5 times larger than the Titanic, weighing in at 228,081 gross tons. Big boy. Thick ship. Thick with 2 C's.
I think we all heard the horrific incident on board the Delta flight where there's a passenger that had an accident throughout the cabin.
Oh, yeah. An accident? Is that how we want to
Yeah,
describe it?
we'll call it an accident throughout the cabin.
They had a explosive evacuation.
Yeah, to say the least.
That guy is not real.
On that flight, they were nearly halfway to their destination, and Delta told the pilots to return to Atlanta. So the reason being is Delta's major hub is in Atlanta, and they definitely had the assets to clean up the issue. What are Americans really good at when they're sitting at home with nothing to do, can't leave, and have extra money coming
Amazon.
in? Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Convoy was supposed to be a industry disruptor. They, before really anybody else was flaunting their, tech assets and data and things that all freight brokerages now throw at you like they're buzzwords. Convoy was one of the first ones to really do it, and it caught the attention of a lot of venture capitalists, especially tech investors, who heard the word tech and thought this would be great. Let's do this. The North American trucking industry is such a wild, wild west thing. Like, if we can add some tech to it and some money, like, we can take over the world. Let's go. And for years, we all kind of thought, oh crap, they might take over the world. Convoy was making a lot of money. They had significant investments from legitimately powerful people. We're talking about Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, I think Bono from YouTube.
Bono.
I like how Jeff Bezos is just getting money full circle.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
Just like, yeah, COVID, order it, and then I'll ship it. As well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Playing both ends.
exactly. You're playing both sides. You're playing both sides.
You have the blue recycle trash can.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Do you guys use it? Ours sits underneath our back deck, and I keep like garden tools in it during the wintertime.
Good idea.
Carson, we're going to just take a look up here on the screen.
All right.
And as you can see, it's a fairly large box for what it is. Now, you could take a guess as to what's in there.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Have you heard of the Brightline trains? Because you need to. This is basically the death train. If I'm a betting man, I'm not getting on a Brightline train. It's already dangerous enough just being in Miami, let alone trying to take a train in Miami that doesn't seem to want to stop for anybody. These Brightline trains, have had the highest death rate in the U.S. since its Miami to West Palm operations began. About 1 death for every 32,000 miles. But the next worst major railroad has a fatality every 130,000 miles. That is over 100,000 miles of difference between Brightline train and the second worst train in the U.S. They actually recently completed a high-speed rail line from Miami to Orlando, and that's already had issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's only been open like a couple months, and people have already died from that as well.
I don't think I'll take those odds.
No. It'll probably be fixed when GTA 6 comes out. That's probably how that one's gonna go. I can't wait to see how GTA actually makes fun of the Brightline train in the game. That's got to be hilarious.
I'm sure it will.
Dude, I bet that train just doesn't stop. I bet they have it set to where it just runs people over. That's going to be awesome to see. Not in real life, just in the video game. Moving on to number 4, and Carson, this is probably my favorite story, but also like I don't want to say favorite because it wasn't a good thing that happened.
It's fun to talk about.
It's just a fun thing to talk about, yeah. So Norfolk Southern basically nuked a town in Ohio. The train derailment up there in Ohio actually, I think, was underreported for the most part for what it was, because the cleanup cost $803 million. Like, how many accidents do we have that cost almost $1 billion to clean up that we just don't even hear about?
That town was ruined. The toxic chemicals that were spilled, something I read said the water may not be drinkable there for decades.
Part of this issue is, you can go through and you can really read up on the incident itself, but the main gist of it is that the train derailed. It was carrying some hazardous materials. Norfolk Southern and some other officials have basically decided that the best way to contain it would just be to go ahead and set it on fire instead of waiting for it to explode or seep into the ground or do whatever. And there was an evacuation and everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of civilians, a lot of residents up there were afraid to come back.
I think a lot of people never did.
A lot of people probably never did. I don't blame them one bit. There are quite a few train derailments that happen every single year, more than I think most people understand. And I think maybe this one opened up their eyes to it a little bit. And it definitely opened up the eyes of lawmakers and people in the government that deal with this kind of stuff, because you had in the aftermath of it a plethora of new safety regulations and proposals for, how many people should be on a train of that length. Like, if you've got a 2.5 mile long train, you might want more than one person running it. Moving it up to 2 or 3 instead of we'll just send Steve out there.
Steve, you run this 2-mile long train.
And if it wrecks, just make sure you set it on fire so that we burn the evidence. So that's going to be pretty much the episode for today. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any ideas for future episodes, be sure to leave those in the comments. And while you're heading towards the comments, why don't you stop in that description and check out our website. We got all the social media stuff as well. We got a newsletter. It's down there. Just go look for it. Thank you for joining us here in 2023. We can't wait to see y'all in 2024.
Yeah,
All right.
it's been fun.
See you guys.